Greetings everyone, Slizzle466 here, and in today's video we're looking at some of the best decks to ladder with in Wild for November 2021. This is not an exhaustive list, so you won't see every archetype available here. For example, there's no Secret Mage list, there's no Big Priest list. This is typically because not much has changed in those lists and they're not particularly good. But in the order of classes, in alphabetical order, we're going to kick it off. Not with Demon Hunter, because there aren't any good Demon Hunter decks. Sorry, Illidan, but we'll start off with Hunter. Of course, Odd Questline Hunter. As you can see, I still don't own the Questline. I don't want to craft it. So yeah, I've never played the deck, but boy, have I lost to it a lot. It's pretty annoying. I don't like it, but it's probably one of the best decks in the format. And I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon because it isn't a problem in Standard. Moving to Druid, there are lots of quirky Druid lists floating around, but the main one that's had any sort of consistency has been Mecha'thun Druid by Lorat. This specific list uses the newly printed Moonlit Guidance from the Deadmines mini set, which is really nice if you want to get to your alignment, or maybe you want to get to your even your Oaken Summons. But yeah, really fun list. It cycles really fast, and then once you've dumped out your hand and your deck and everything, you play Mecha'thun, you play Poison Seeds, and you win. Looking at our Mage, we've got Ignite Mage. This is another pretty aggravating deck to play against, but we're kind of stuck with it. Basically, it tutors really hard, so it's running a lot of tradable cards. It's not running them for the actual card, it's just running it so it can trade, because you want to cycle really fast into your win condition. Once you've got your Sanctum Chandlers, your Elemental Evocation, your Sorcerer's Apprentice, your Molten Reflection, and your Ignite going, if you're fast enough, you can win usually around the mid-game with this deck. Looking at Paladin, we have Odd Paladin. Now, Odd Paladin's actually seen a little bit of an update, just a very minor one. So you'll notice the inclusion of Traveling Merchant. It's a 3-mana 2/3. It's tradable, though I have never actually traded the card. I've never found a reason to. But basically, you typically always have a board as an Odd Paladin. Just having one minion, 3-mana 3/4s, are considered normal these days. But often it'll be much more than that. So it's just a great card to have some big stats for 3 mana. I also like how this list is running the double broomstick. It's not running the Lord Barov, and to be honest, that was typically ran when Dark Glare Warlock was a thing. I know Giants Warlock is floating around, but it's not that popular yet. But I think Broomstick's important to have, just in case you fall behind on board. But otherwise, it's Odd Paladin. You know, it's a good deck. Next Paladin deck to look at is Hand Buff Paladin. This is a list by Rin. So this list, it is teched for the Odd Questline Hunter, hence the Robes of Protection. This is a great tech against that archetype. It's also got some extra charge, so it's got the Stone Tusk Boar. Most people don't play around it, so you might buff up a boar in your hand really big and surprise your opponent. Also, the Battleground Battlemaster is a great addition. So it's all about hand buffing stuff. Whack them with charge minions. If that doesn't work, get some big things to stick, and then smack them with Wind Fury. Moving to Priest, we've got Aggro Priest by Gumby. This is a list that I featured in one of my previous videos. I love this list. It's really strong. I like the double Galactic Crawler because there's a lot of Pirate Warrior in the meta. I also love the Defias Leper. It's just a wonderful tool for the archetype. So if you want to play Aggro Priest, which used to be a meme, not anymore, this is the way to do it. Moving to Rogue, Edwin Rogue. Edwin Rogue turns out to be a legit archetype. It's pretty high roll, but it's all about getting either a giant Edwin Van Cleef or a giant Edwin Defies Kingbin. Now, the deck is very weak to Devolve or Devolving Missiles. I've even seen odd Questline Hunters running Deadly Shot, which is pretty shocking. But most of the time that's not the case. You'll get the big Edwin to stick. You'll kill your opponent in a couple turns. It's a pretty fun deck. Definitely check this one out. A Pillager Rogue. This is a list by Inferno. So this specific list, it is running the new Blackwater Cutlass from the Deadmines mini set. So this is just nice to be able to cycle if you need a piece of your puzzle to play this deck. This is a very difficult deck to play, but if you know what you're doing, you can push through to rank 1 legend if you want to, but just be warned, it's got quite a steep learning curve. It's not the most expensive deck to play though. Like, it's got a couple epics. That, I mean, there's the one legendary here, but if you want to try it out, it is really good, but just beware. You'll need to play quite a few games to get the hang of it. Moving to Shaman. I got Reno Shaman by Higgs Bacon. So I haven't played this list personally, but it was highly recommended by my Twitch chat to check it out. So this is my first time seeing it. So I'm just going to really quickly skim through the list here because I'm very interested. The Glacial Shard is great for the Giants. It's got a Galakron package, which I find very interesting. Bolner Hammerbeak, which has messed me up quite a lot of times when I've played against it. For example, I had my opponent play, I can't remember what it was. No, this list doesn't run it, but I just remember my opponent had something, and then they played the Bolner, and they got like some horrendous minion on the board, and it was just absolutely insane. So that's a really cool card. Big fan of that one. You know, Pirate Warriors are annoying. Maelstrom Portal's interesting. I guess it's nice against the Pirate Warriors. Brilliant Macaw's insane. Great card. If you didn't buy the mini set, just craft this. It's a common. It's pretty good. This one's kind of weird, but it's fun to have a high roll. This doesn't run Hagatha, so this is kind of like your... It's kind of like your 3-mana Hagatha in a way, just to get some random Shaman spells in your hand, which is nice. Love the Spirit Echo. I got some removal, which is great with lifesteal. Kazaka's Golem Shaper, which is fine. So this list is not running Hex, so if you're not running Hex, you can run Kazaka's Golem Shaper. There aren't that many great 4-drops that you can run in Reno Shaman anyway. And then you got your Galakron package, Lower Theb, Reno, and the Shadow Walk. It's not bad. I definitely have to try it, but this list hit rank 1 legend, so it's probably pretty good. Murloc Shaman. Nothing special here. It's just a deck that messes people up. This one does run Cookie the Cook because it's okay. I wouldn't craft it if you didn't buy the mini set. If you don't own it, don't worry. But if you want to surprise your opponent, because people will typically mulligan Reno, assuming you're Reno, and then you say, surprise, I'm Murloc, and bash him in the face. It's a fun deck to play. Big Shaman, also just a deck that catches people off guard. You kind of have a slow start and they'll think you're a Reno Shaman, but then you go like, hey, surprise, play a Farsight or play Ancestor's Call, and you bash them with giant minions. It can fall really flat though, so beware. Aggro just absolutely stomps this deck, but if you manage to get to that turn 4 and you do the crazy high roll, it's pretty good. Warlock. As usual in Wild, many good Warlock decks. It's always been the case for a long time. We start with Ben from Works Even Warlock. He took this list to rank 5 legend currently. I think he's trying to push further. Ben from Work is a specialist with Even Warlock, so I honestly would not change anything in this list if you're obliged to. The Sunfree Protector is great. It just stops Pirate Warrior in its tracks. You've got the... you've got your giants you push out really early. And usually against the odd questline hunters, you can push out those giants early enough that they just can't deal with them. And because it's not a Reno list, it has a lot more consistency, and that's quite important. Cute Warlock. This is a list that hasn't changed at all for quite a while, but it's just really, really good. Again, typically your opponent won't mulligan for it. They'll mulligan for an even deck, so you kind of surprise them with spamming a board full of stuff. It's a pretty ridiculous deck. It's not that straightforward to play, but again, this one's not that hard. Like, play 5 games, you're good to go. But yeah, really fun deck. If you like doing ridiculous aggro things, highly recommend Cute Lock. Giant Warlock. So it's pretty amazing that the meta is so fast that Dark Glare is cut from this list. So we can't call it Dark Glare because it doesn't run it. This is the list that I took to Legend. If you watched my content, you would have seen me fail the Legend run, but then the next morning I got Legend very quickly, just a couple games. But yeah, it's a great deck. It might be a sleeper deck, I don't know. I think Tempo Storm put it at tier 3 or maybe tier 2. I think it might need to be a little higher. I think people are sleeping on it. Shadowblade Slinger is also insane. But yeah, really solid deck. Definitely, again, it's got a learning curve. Maybe play 5 games to get the hang of it, and then you're good to go. Reno Even Warlock. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't looked at this list until right now, but I know that Sheer is an excellent Hearthstone player in Wild, so I typically just take his decks and know they're going to be good, but he plays very refined, efficient decks in the meta. So when I do a quick scan here, I see that for the odd questline hunters. I see this for the pirate warriors. Nothing too shocking here. I like the Abyssal Summoner. It's just a nice little surprise. Here's a taunt to deal with it. Entitled Customer is a great board clear. Nerubian Unraveler, again, this is a hunter tech, which is great. Skulking Geist is a hunter tech. And otherwise, you just got your kind of top-end package, which is pretty solid. And last but not least, it's Pirate Warrior. Don't run Mr. Smite. It's really bad. It's really funny and really greedy, but you really don't need it. Most of the lists that I have looked at have cut Mr. Smite. The card that throws Pirate Warrior over the edge is Defias Cannoneer. Probably the card of the set. Absolutely insane. So yeah, between this and Odd Questline Hunter, those are definitely the 2 best decks out there. If you want to try any of these decks out for yourself, you'll find all of the deck codes in the description below. And if you're a mobile user and you are unable to copy those deck codes, you can join my Discord. There is an easy to type link into your mobile device. Visit the deck lists only channel, and then it is very easy to copy and paste the decks from in there. If you want to help support this channel, you can click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and until next time, hope to see you again.